Hi Prepsters, this is Ola with Pandemic Prepsters, and today I'm going to make one of my family's favorite side dishes, Spanish rice. It's super easy to make. If you thought this was difficult, my goodness, it is not. This is one of our family's favorites. So, I don't know about you, but in a grid down situation, I will be making flavorful foods such as this. So here I'm heating 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil in my electric skillet. You can also do this on the stovetop. Once that's nice and warm, I'm going to add 2 cups of my favorite long grain rice, which mine happens to be jasmine rice. And then I'm just going to incorporate that into the oil, and I'm going to toast it to a beautiful almond color. Now, if you were adding chunky pieces of garlic here, you would want to infuse that into the oil before you add the rice. Just one of my other tips. So here I'm browning the rice. As you can see, it's getting to be a pretty almond color. And once you reach that, or it's almost done, that's where you're going to add your onions if you're adding fresh onions. I actually had fresh onions and I forgot to add them. So, but don't worry, I did add onions to this. I just added dehydrated diced onions instead. So you would cook the onions until they're clear, and stirring occasionally because you don't want the rice to overcook and get dark. You just want it a beautiful almond color. And then once the onions are nice and clear and everything, then you're going to add your garlic. Here I'm going to add, this is the minced garlic since I didn't do the fresh garlic, about just over a teaspoon of garlic, and I will incorporate that and mix that in. And if you haven't already, I hope you subscribe to our channel. I'll be concentrating on a bunch more prepping videos since it is the start of the new year. So we'll be talking about all things prepping and get on goal to get a good year's supply. So here I finally add the garlic and I incorporate it well. And as you can see, oh, it was smelling so good. I wish you guys had smell-o-vision. Just so good. That garlic, once it hits the pan, oh, great. Now, the next tip I have for you guys is once that's incorporated well, you will add your tomato sauce. A 15-ounce can of tomato sauce is what I added. And you will add that because when the rice starts to absorb that liquid, as soon as it hits it, it will absorb that beautiful color. And you'll see this Spanish rice stays the most beautiful color at the end. So I mix that in well. And then once that's mixed in well, I'll add 2 cans of my favorite chicken broth. Now you can make this vegetarian style by adding chicken broth. Not chicken broth, vegetable broth, excuse me. So vegetable broth or just water. If you want to just add water, that's okay. Now I'm going to be adding my Rotel. Now this was not the traditional recipe I was taught with the Rotel. I would add a whole Anaheim chili or a jalapeno at the very end of the cooking process. But I have found I really like the flavor of the Rotel, and I could pick the heat, mild, original, or hot. So depending on my palate, I can change that up. So this was just the original Rotel. I mix that in. Now I'm going to add my broth. I will add my broth to my tomato cup, as you see here, and dump that in so I can get the rest of that beautiful color. And then I will add the 2 cans of chicken broth. Here's at Swanson's. You know, sometimes I'll get low sodium and sometimes I don't, just depending on what I have on hand. So I add that in, mix it in. Once that's fully kind of comes to a semi-boil, I'll start adding my other seasonings. Now, since I didn't add the onion, that's going to be the first thing I add is the diced onion. Diced minced onion, as you can see there. And I probably did about 2.5 teaspoons or so. Now, if you were doing regular onion originally, you would do a half an onion, about 3/4 of a cup, if I forgot to say that. So I'm going to add the onion. I'm going to add the salt or you can add bouillon. It's your choice. I do it both ways. It just depends on what I want to do. And black pepper. And I give that a good stir, get it mixed in really well with the onion. Now the bouillon, that's the typical bouillon I use. And it's just the traditional way I was taught. But I decided to add sea salt instead. So I always change it up. It depends on my mood. So now add my black pepper. I always like to grind my own black pepper. I find it's, I don't know, fresher that way. So I add the black pepper to taste. Literally, I will be tasting this in just a second. And yes, it was good. Because then if you find out it's too salty, you can take some of the broth out, add some broth back. But no, it was good. So then I watch it, let it come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I turn it down to about 275. I let it cook for about 16 minutes, and then I check the rice. And I check the rice because I don't want it to burn on the bottom. And when I did, there was a bunch of liquid on top. It was starting to stick to the bottom. So I intermix that liquid by folding the rice in. What I did was not by stirring. That's folding like that. And let it sit. And then I turned off the heat and put the lid on and let it sit for another 8 minutes because it was slightly al dente. So it just had to cook a little bit more. By letting it sit and cook in by itself, that's the best way. That way you don't overcook the rice. This rice was perfectly cooked. It was delicious. And what I'm going to do with this rice is I'm going to dehydrate it. I already have put some in the freeze dryer. This is my second batch. So I have some already freeze dried. Now I'm putting some dehydrated. So I'm making instant Spanish rice. So did you know you can do that? Some people call these camping meals or backpacker meals. But for me, it's a prepper meal. It's stuff I put away for whatever way I want to use it. Dehydrated, of course, will not last as long as freeze dried, but that's okay. I will use these up, and so don't forget to go check out some more of my videos. And again, I'm going to be doing more videos on more prepping videos and even some more fun recipes like this, showing you how you can incorporate this into your prepping. Well, don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to our channel. We hope you have a good day